hook's just falling out. Have a look at that. I don't know how good it is before he comes off. Well, we got him in the gob, so he's pretty good. So let's get that brain spike. There we go.
To about that depth. So imagine the brain's in about there.
Okay.
So if you work it back in, you'll get a bit of a twitch when you get it. There you go. There, you got it there.
Okay. We've got the little knife, so we can't penetrate too much. But all we're doing here is just penetrating below the skin. And I always give it a bit of a twist, and you can just see how much more blood comes out when you give it that little bit of a twist. Get that brain spike out. Roll him on his back here. And the same. Steady 28, 27. So what we're looking for, we open up the gill rake and we get that little membrane there. So you can see the membrane just in here. The heart sits in this region here. Andy, can you pass me that deck hose, please? You've got to be careful now this side. So I'm going through into this region here, right there. And you can see that membrane. That little membrane there. If you pierce that on the other side, this is almost becomes null and void because you can't get the water pressure. And I'll put a little incision with the knife there, just so that I can get that neck wash hose. Can you pass that, please? Normally, so she's bleeding out naturally at the moment. I'll get that in there. Roll him on his back. It takes a bit sometimes to get going. Andy, if you can just give that a little bit of just what happens if you leave it too long, Sean? It clots the blood. See it?
There it goes.
So see that? So if the blood clots, you've got to almost open that hole up again. But you can see the blood coming out now. And we'll do it to both sides. You give it. That's why I give it a bit of a twist. It's better to do it a bit quicker. I mean, we've done the temperature thing, but you get to go. This blood's clotting. So what happens if the blood clots throughout the fish, Sean? So if you don't do it a lot quicker than what we did, for this purpose, it's working all right. When you do it straight away, it shoots out like a fire hose. But that's getting it. You know what? You can see the water. See the water coming down.
Yeah.
So that's open
salt
up.
water coming out of it.
Yeah. Well, blood and salt water.
Yeah.
That's it there, isn't it?
There you go. Can I just get that first? Where you're putting it? Beautiful.
That's definitely it.
It's instantaneous.
Feel the muscle now.
Muscles totally relaxed there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There you go. So that's something I haven't done.
Alright, so that's basically just biting the fish down along the spinal cord. So it's damaging the spinal nerve all the way down, which allows all the muscle to relax all through the fish.
What we're doing now is we're going to gut it and gill it, so that we open up the insides to the ice and the slurry that we're going to make. So you want to be careful. All you're doing is slicing both sides, that membrane, separating that membrane, both sides. Then I'll separate where the gill meets the head. That's it. That's part of the company. Let that go, Andy, please. So all I've got to do is take, if you can hold that gill open, Andy, for me so people can see, right? It's actually, if you get the wrong spot, this can be very hard, but if you get the right spot, it just pulls away really easy to gill. See it? It just literally you've just cut the gill away from where it's joined in this region here. Okay? So I like to slit them open, but you want to be careful how deep you make this cut. So that's why I've always got the knife that way rather than that way. So you just want to go through the skin. And that's just probably the easiest way, and then you just detach the stomach from the base here. So if you can just see there, I've just detached this little part here from there which connects it all. And just dislodge it with your hand, and it's so warm in there, you can feel it. Right. Then I'll just get these gills, and you need a little bit of manual labour here, and you just pull that out. You get the gills out intact. Sometimes the guts come out completely with it. Doesn't matter if they don't, you can just pull them out from here. Throw that in the water, I'll make those sharks going to like that. And you can see here, I've just got my fingers in here, and that's the heart cavity where we put that, where we do that pressure bleed from. And I just throw that out. Deck wash hose, please, Andy. This is only hard for the first one, and then the second one.
Slurry?
Yeah, fucking hell, I do. Waste of time if you don't.
So the slurry gives better contact than just the ice and getting into the gut cavity.
Alright, so what we've done here, we've got to start off, like obviously this is the first fish we've killed today, we've set tag 2, and I've opened up 3 bags of ice in here. This chiller bag's pretty big, so what I've done, I've folded the chiller bag to minimise how much water I need to put, therefore allowing it to get a lot colder, a lot quicker. 3 bags of ice normally does it, and that's just the start. 3 bags of ice. I've got another 6 bags of ice in there. So if we will, that'll do, Andy. So all you want to be doing is covering the surface of the fish. So if you have a look there, that fish is completely submerged in ice, in an ice slurry. That's creating a contact not only on the outside of the flesh. Most people, and I'm guilty of this as well, most people used to just, and you put the ice, or you stuff the middle of the fish with ice, or an ice bottle, frozen bottle, and yeah, it gets it cold, but only the contact area gets cold. The whole fish doesn't get cold. Like this, it gets cold, and it needs to get cold really quick, as Sean indicated earlier. Where the temp.
So how cold is that water?
So that water now, interestingly enough, let's go like just right now. Like that's, well, what is that, 1 or is that 12 degrees? What's that?
No, it'll get down.
That's 0.8. That's 0.7. That's 1 point. That's freezing. That's cold. That's a lot colder than I thought it was.
No, only 1 degree. That's about right.
It's less than 1. It's less than 1 degree. That's crazy. So the core temperature of this fish was what? 28 degrees. This is what I mean. Like we got water, ice water contacting that whole fish now, and that's what's going to keep that fish in pristine condition. So you get it home. That is as good Japanese sushi quality as you'll ever get, cooking quality, and it just keeps a whole lot longer. Like personally, I like to eat fish fresh, and a lot of times I'll give away stuff to relatives, but I'll keep a good couple of kilos in the fridge. Won't even be frozen, and a week later it's still amazing. A week later, like, it's crazy.
So the tuna's now down to 16 degrees, and what, we're 2 hours after we put it in the slurry. So what were we? Come down 12 degrees in 2 hours.
Has the ice melted away significantly?
There's still a fair bit of ice in there, I think, because it's a smaller fish. There wasn't too much sort of body mass in there, but it's like there's not a lot of ice left in there. The water's still cold, but probably want to top up that ice again and make sure that temperature just keeps coming down. So
if you're going to fish out the rest of the day, that's what we actually do.
Yeah.
With every fish that we catch and add to the chiller bag, we'll add another bag of ice every time.
Yeah.
That's why it goes through so much ice. As soon as another fish comes in, we introduce another warm fish in there, bang, more ice. But once that water's cool, we work really hard throughout the day to maintain that water temperature and not lose any water out of the bag, more importantly.
Yeah. But the big thing is, like, a lot of people go, you can just run the decos over it or something, that will cool it down.
No.
It literally doesn't do anything.
It's very minimal, if anything.